Hello everyone. Today we want to continue with part 2 of a discussion on poor graphic design, specifically as it relates to fonts and graphics. You know, many people don't realize that fonts may look great on your computer when you're designing your site, but they may not even be available on another. People may be looking at your site in a completely different way than what you do. Now, we mentioned in part 1 that features are often overused, and fonts are certainly one of those features. In fact, look at this survey here, the Nielsen Top 10 Web Design Mistakes of 2005. Number 1 by a landslide was legibility problems. Now, that tells us a lot. That tells us that people who are trying to design sites to make them legible, certainly to get across a message that's important, are making them not legible. And that is the biggest complaint, at least in that year, but certainly it has been continuing on. Now, here is a list of common browser-compatible fonts that are safe to use. The sans serif family, you're familiar with these certainly. The serif family, Times New Roman, Arial are very, very common. And then, of course, the Courier or the monospace family. And you might be saying, oh, those are so ugly. Now, one thing that you have to keep in mind, though, is that they are compatible with different websites and different browsers. And if you want to use a fancy font, it is often better to use an image for that font rather than the font itself. Now, let's look over here at the 10 basic visual web design mistakes, and this is from our friends at firstwebdesigner.com. One of these is a bad font usage, and you can see right here how bad this looks. But, you know, even though we laugh at this, we see this so often. And then, of course, you have the problem with no images and text that's just run together without any spacing at all, which of course takes you to this section on having no paragraphs at all. And then of course a very tiny font size, it makes it not legible as well, and the list goes on. We want to concentrate on fonts here and remind you that when you're using the OurChurch.com web builder, that font sizes come in families, font styles come in families, and a lot of these are the families that we just mentioned. And certainly some are ones that you need to stick with more common than others. The Times New Roman, the Verdana, the Arial Black. Those are more common. And then of course when you get to those styles, the italic and the underline and the bold, you want to be careful with those, as we said last week. Too much use of a good thing can often make a site illegible. And we want to make sure that the site is legible first and then classy and stylish second. So that's our web tip for this week. More to come. Thank you.